You know, I am just so fucking tired of these black women with these fucked up attitudes, man. You know, it's like they expect for you to accept them for the way they are, for who they are, for the attitude that they have. And, you know, you can run into some of them who are like, you know, I have a bad attitude, Sam, and I'm working on it right now. And, you know, I need to adjust my attitude. You know, I've learned recently, you know, I learned a lot of things about myself, and it's my attitude. And, you know, I really want to get into a few personal, like, encounters that I have witnessed within the past couple of months when it comes down to this shit. I mean, I see it all the fucking time, and I'm like, you know what? I know why a lot of these black women have the attitudes that they have, but at the same time, there's still accountability that needs to be acquired when it comes down to the way that you act, the way you socialize yourself, you know, the way you put yourself out there. You know, and it's like, you see this a lot, especially in the hood. You see this a lot with a lot of women who are indoctrinated in the urban society, hip-hop culture. It's like, you know, you're supposed to accept me for who I am and the way I am, you know. And then you got the ones who just, you know, like, now they're reading the Bible, now they've turned over to Christ, and, you know, they're working on an attitude adjustment and shit. But, you know, they easily slip back out of it. You know, it's like all men are fucked up, all men are dogs, you know, but then when it's time to choose the man, or when it's time for, you know, you to fucking settle down and shit, you know, it's like the man who hollers at you, the man that you accept to fuck with, is always the guy who gives you the fucked up attitude in the first place. You know, I was in, what was that? I was in Chipotle a couple of days ago. And, you know, inside of Chipotle, like, there's two overweight fat women that's in there. There's one, you know, she's kind of short. I'd say she weighs about maybe 200 pounds, flabby as shit, you know, on the verge of getting a fupa. And, you know, she has the weave in her hair. And, you know, it's just two different scenarios. I'm standing in line behind both of these bitches. And the first woman, you know, she's in line, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't been to Chipotle in a while. Let me go ahead and fuck around and get sick real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and get you know, some poison in my fucking blood. You know? So I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead to Chipotle. You know, nigga never had Chipotle in a while. Let me go over here to Chipotle. I'm in line, man, and I see this all the time, but, you know, this time it just hit me. It was like, man, this shit is just fucking terrible. So the first black chick, you know, in line, and they were like, you know, one customer that was between them, and it was a white guy. So the first black chick, you know, she's like, I want extra onions, you know, like fuck the meat, like double meat, you know, you got to pay for that. But you know, she's like, I want double onions, I want extra lettuce. No, put extra lettuce on there, put extra cheese on there, put extra tomato, whatever that shit is, you know, put that on there too. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, like, no tip at all. You know, there's a tip jar at the front of the counter when you pay for your food. There's a tip jar. Like, when I go to places like that, when I go to, like, Piatas, or I go to, what's the other one that it is, with the purple rice, the Asian place, Bing Bangs, B-Bangs or some shit. You know, when I go to these type of places, the first person who I encounter, especially the motherfucker who putting the meat in my bowl, you know, whatever, on my rap, whatever the fuck I'm getting, you know, I'm real courteous to them for two reasons. One reason is because, you know, the nicer you are, the more shit that you get. And then secondly, it's like, you don't want nobody fucking up your food, you know what I'm saying? You don't want them to give you like small ass portions just because you got a fucked up attitude. But them black women, bro, them black women, they get whatever the fuck they want. Because a lot of these motherfuckers are scared. Like, they had a black woman, I mean, she was a bad chick too. I mean, you know, high yellow chick, you know, had glasses on, real petite, and, you know, the black chick was just going, oh, you know, on her, like, you know, no, I want more cheese. Put some more cheese on that, you know. No matter where you go to Subway, same shit, you know. So, like, those women, you know, they are very, very, very controlled, you know. So, you know, this chick was like, yeah, and pour me an extra cup of some sour cream, you know, and pour me an extra cup of some of that green sauce, you know. And like, everything was just extra portion. And then when she got to the fucking cash register, and I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, I want to see, she paid them the regular price, the minimum price, no tip. And on top of that, she had the nerve, to, break the bottle inside of the hot sauce bottle that was sitting by the cash register. She broke that. And it's like, well, I got to hurry up and go. I got to hurry up and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean to break that. Now I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break it, somebody need to come and pick this up. So the second bitch in line, overweight too. She's like, I don't want extra portion. I got high blood pressure. They had to make her fucking, her tacos about 3 or 4 times, and I'm sitting in the line. I am pissed at this point. I have to hurry up and get back to the bank. I'm pissed at this point. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and stick it out. I'm off today. I'm just going in there to just go and check on a few things just to make sure shit is okay. So, I'm not really tripping off of this right now. At least I'm not on the clock. I'm just going in. I've had a time schedule for myself, but this bitch is like, I got high blood pressure. Don't put, extra sauce. No extra sauce. I want some sauce. Put a little bit of sauce. Don't put extra sauce on it because I got high blood pressure. And then when it got down to adding like the sour cream and the corn, no, don't make it extra. They'll never get it right. And the light skinned chick, like she was just aggravated. You could see like she was just kind of scared to the point where she was like, man, I want to make it right for this dark skin, overweight ass fat bitch, because there was 2 of them in there. And she's like, well, okay, I'm sorry, ma'am. And she had to throw the tacos away and then start all over. And then, she finally got it right with the portions and shit that the chick wanted. And then they got to the next guy who was taking care of the sauces and putting the corn and all of that on there. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, because there's a bunch of black people in there, like the black people behind the conveyor belt, they hook up, they was hooking it up. You could tell like they were kind of new and shit too, bro. But the chick is just going off like, no, I don't want all that. I got high blood pressure. I can't eat it. I can't fucking eat it, bitch. Why the fuck are you here? Why are you here? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Why are you here? And that's what I told the girl behind the counter. And I told the guy at the register that shit too. I'm like, what I mean? She complaining about, the portions. I mean, here it is. You guys are hooking her up, giving her extra portions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that she's satisfied, seeing that she's overweight, seeing as, the bitch might want to eat some extra shit. You know what I'm saying? Just to shut her up and ease her attitude. Let's hook her up. But no, this bitch, she wants, she doesn't want the minimum portion. She wants, more of a higher standard of a portion, but not too much, not too little, because she has high blood pressure. You need to fucking go to the gym. That's what it is. You need to go to the fucking gym. I was pissed, man, in there. But I mean, it's all across the board. You got the women with the attitude when you go and talk to them. Hey, how you doing? It's like, even with the women that I know who I text, or who text me, who ask me like, how's things been going? How you doing? And shit like that. And I try to keep shit on the up and up. I keep shit on the positive. And, I tell them, oh, yeah, things are going good, at this new firm. And then it's like, everybody loves me. The vice presidents love me. Everyone, knows my name. And, they always want to hold a long conversation with me. Everything is on the up and up. I see myself growing here. And, I'm like, how you doing? She's like, well, things are going, that's about it. They're just going. And I'm like, man, there's no way to uplift them, And then when they get with these fucked up ass guys, it's like, that's the thing with them. You can't handle my motherfucking attitude. I need a real man to handle my motherfucking attitude. It's like, man, I'm the type of nigga, I'll be on chill. I've been with women with fucked up attitudes, and I've always been like, good riddance, bitch. Good riddance. And they always come back. They always like, liking your shit all on Instagram and Facebook and, everything you post. Any picture that you post, you post anything like you moving up, you trying to be successful, you're doing big things, they don't like that shit. But when you post the pictures, it's some more regular shit, they're liking it. They're commenting on it. You know what I'm saying? But, you look at the guys that they're with, like they're looking for the thug guys who are out there just to beat it up. I mean, damn, when I was with you, I was beating it up, but you didn't like the fact that I was humble with my shit. But the minute I catch an attitude with these females, the minute I call them a bitch, the minute I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bitch. The minute I'm on some shit like that, it's like, hey, Sam, I was calling to see how you were doing. And it's like, man, why do I have to get like this? Why do I have to be an asshole to these women? I've never been like that. Having a fucking attitude and being, fierceful and, very strict with these women is some shit that I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn it. And I mean, it's the attitude about it that all black women are like this. You know what? Fuck these hoes. And that's how it was. And when I started to notice that shit, and I tried it out. Like, okay, I was nice to this one girl, man. Ironically, her name is Tamika. You run into a lot of females whose name is Tamika, and, their attitude is just always fucked up. So, I was nice to the chick, and then she's like, on her attitude and shit. But the minute I started to match her attitude and overpower her attitude, that's when she started to buckle down. She was nice, and she wanted to be with me. She wanted to hug and cuddle and all of this shit. And I'm like, she was just unattractive. Because you want that thug love. That's what the fuck you want. You want... Wow, bruh. That shit is deep, man. These hoes want thug love, bruh. And then, like, I listen to a lot of old school people when I talk about this shit. Like, one of my partners, he just pulled up a Barcades record. We chilling in his station, you know what I'm saying? He has this radio station where he plays old school music. And, I'm in here talking to him about it, and the first thing he puts on is this Barcade song. Your attitude, wow, is what describes you. And I'm like, yeah, bruh, you know what I'm saying? But, like, when I heard the song, it made me think about this one particular female. And, I really don't want to get too personal on a lot of the things that I say because I tell you guys that I'm in the trenches. Like, I interact with a lot of black women, a lot of women, period. I interact, I ask questions. I let them ask me questions. I let them know, how it is, how I see things. And I challenge them. I challenge them on a lot of the issues that they deal with, a lot of the rebuttals that they make. And, when it comes down to the attitude, it always boils down to, this is just the way I am, and I'm working on it, or, I know people look at me and they already think that I'm mean, even though I have this soft shell, or, I have to take and be this way to make sure that motherfuckers are, not disrespecting me. But what about the nice motherfuckers who come up to you and, just want to make sure that you're doing all right and just want to see how your fucking day is going? You got an attitude with these niggas, too. You don't deserve a good motherfucking man. You know what I'm saying? You deserve the lowest of the low. A lot of black men on YouTube, they complain about this shit. They complain and they say that men... just don't want to deal with that type of shit anymore. And, men always want to go out with the Asian woman or the white woman or the Hispanic woman and shit, unurbanized. And it's like, they say it in a way where they kind of like point the finger at a lot of black women. And they say it in a way where, these black women are just going to be like, I'm just going to be how the fuck I am, and nobody's going to change that. You can keep it up. If black men were more fierceful on a lot of this shit, they had that shit together on top of that, then yeah, you will see a lot of changes. You'll see it. But the whole attitude and the rogueness, it comes from, the street culture. Seriously. Because when you listen to the music that a lot of these women listen to, they're listening to trap music, they're listening to EDM and all of this other garbage, and, the outcome of it, they end up pregnant with these fucking losers, raising a kid by themselves. And I mean, golly, bro, if I told y'all some of the personal stories that I've seen, motherfucking niggas forcing these women to have abortions and shit and not wanting to pay for it. I can go on and on and on about some of the situations, But these are the niggas y'all fucking with. And when y'all choose them, you choose them because of, the swag and how cool they are. And, just the fact that, oh, wow, this is a real man, he can accept my fucking attitude. He can tell me, bitch, shut the fuck up. And I couldn't sit down and shut the fuck up. But when you have a nigga that tries to talk it out with you and, like, let me see what's going on with this female. It's like, that's just more room for her to spread her fucking germ, her attitude and shit. And it's unbecoming, man. I'm not saying that, like, I'm just a full-fledged educated lame, because no, I'm not. Like, if I was a full educated lame, then I would have a lot of enemies in the streets, in the street culture. And, like the niggas that I do know in the street, I mean, these motherfuckers, some of them are doing their thing. Some of them, they do not agree with a lot of shit that I say. And if you look at some of the earlier videos that I have, where I actually have street niggas, and I will have this shit going forward, I have debates. I have educated brothers, even my brother, my brother who is highly educated, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. Even with him, like, I have videos with him, and he'll go off on, my partner who is like, one of the top street niggas and shit around here. You know what I'm saying? And me, working at banks and, coming up with new plans and, just different projects and procedures, changing a lot of things, like, really implementing a lot of things in the government and just a lot of bank regulations. I'm not really considered like the full-fledged street nigga, but, I can actually be that type of guy because I know how to channel it. Like, just like how one of these videos, SWP mentions, a lot of these street guys, they're going to get all of the females regardless, even the ugly ones. The educated brothers, I mean, you think that you don't need to work out and go into the fucking gym. I mean, that shit is necessary. You got to make up for a few things. He's absolutely correct. And I mean, that's how I looked at it when it came down to the whole swag and the street culture and shit like that. I'm like, you know what? I got to drive my nuts down on these niggas. You know what I'm saying? I got to. Like, I can't just be some motherfucker who just knows all of this trivia shit. I got to be the type of guy who knows some of this shit, and I can be able to challenge a lot of these niggas in front of these bitches. And doing that, it built up a lot of clout for me. I got a lot of respect from street niggas behind this shit. One of my closest partners up here in Ohio is heavy in the fucking streets. Illegal guns and shit all in his shed, all in his basement, gets all types of free shit from crackheads. I mean, his fucking garage looks like a pawn shop. Pawn shop. I said porn. But, we talk to each other every day. Like, we disagree on a lot of shit. Just like the other day, like he said, I didn't like what you said about Future. I disagree with some of the things that you said about Future, man. I don't think that was right, man. Future's just the type of guy, man. I mean, even though he has all of those children by those different baby mamas, he's still out there wanting to support his kid. Like, some of those women wanted to have children with him just because they knew that he had money, just because they knew that he was rich. Okay, well, damn, then if that's the case, you need to marry all of them bitches. You know what I'm saying? You need to have as many children as you have. You need to have as many concubines. But these women are like, well, he's a good father. He does take care of his children, but he wants to control all of our houses. He wants to control every household that he has a kid with. And that is this fucking serious problem. I mean, if that's the case, you need to marry all of those females like the Muslims do. And a lot of these females, they feel like, well, I got the child support from this guy. He's financially supporting his kid, but I still want to go out and live my life. And, it is bullshit. And like I said, like before in another video, you have the more intelligent women, the geeks, the nerdy girls in high school who still want these same type of motherfuckers. And it comes down to the swag. It comes down to the fact that these niggas is over masculine and, they have the skill to beat it up. And I learned that too when I was fucking around with a lot of females. It was like, I'm disappointed in you, Sam. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn. See, now I beat it up. I knocks it out to the point where it's like, these women like, man, I done came 5 times and, I need a break. You know what I'm saying? I make sure these women are satisfied. But that whole attitude shit, you know, like I've learned how to channel that as well. But on the initial, just fucking around with these women when you go out to the gas station, to the grocery store, and you see them, you know, it's like you gotta take and really, really go off on them. You gotta really put them in their fucking place. And then when you do that, some of them are like, you don't talk to me like that. Oh, I see you trying to get sarcastic. You know, that's the biggest word you know, huh? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, you don't know what I know, and all of this shit, you know. But look, just don't come at me like that. You know, it's unfeminine. Seriously, it's unfeminine. When I like when I have Kim over here, or you know my Hispanic homegirl, you know what I'm saying? Like when I have her over here, you know, and white women that I know all throughout the bank firm, they don't act like that. Like I know this one white girl now, you know, like she's heavy in the gym. She works out. She has like a couple of trainers. You know, she does various marathons, and you know she's always sponsored by different companies. You know, and like you can see the before and after pics of her because when I first met her at you know this one firm, we started off together at the same time, and I mean we still cool. We still close still to this day. Sometimes we go and we have lunch. And, you know, we just talk about the differences between, you know, the firm and how it was when I was there and some of the changes that they made that has fucked up and, you know, some of her personal issues. And, you know, even though we don't date or anything like that, I'm never fucked around with her or anything like that, but she is feminine. But the black women who I've never fucked around with, who are from these same places, it's like, they just don't know how to fucking get their shit together. You know, it's just always like, you know, this is the way I am. Like, bruh, I don't like black women. You know, when it comes down to dark-skinned black women, you know, the ones who have a great attitude, a good attitude, it's like, it's phenomenal. You know, the women who I meet and I don't see the attitude, it's like, man, this girl is fucking gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's dark skinned and her attitude is on point. Oh, shit. Oh, man, this is fucking great. I be geeked out, man. I be geeked out. But the majority of them, you know, I run into them. They got the red hair. They got the weave in their hair. And, I mean, I've broken a lot of things down to a science, especially when it comes down to consuming and comes down to like different products that these women buy, and I'll do another video on that because I don't want to really get too deep. But one thing I will add is that being at this new firm, because I wanted to break my show down, like my channel, I wanted to have like a little gap in between a lot of things that I did. But when I left, you know, the global institution and decided to work on a more regional project and, you know, see if I can make that grow, which I have been doing in the past couple of months, you know, and ironically, I have a couple of personal bankers who are taking consumer lending classes from the previous firm that I worked at. These are two white buddies of mine, and, you know, they're masters in retail, but, they are learning now at this new firm. They're learning consumer lending so that they can manage their branches respectfully. So one of my buddies, he's downtown, and another buddy is going to work like in the outskirts at this other branch. So, you know, we're eating lunch, you know, at the firm, and then we're in the cafeteria, and, you know, an African lady walks in. I mean, she's cool, you know, been digging her, like she got a nice body and shit. I think she's from either Senegal or Ghana, one of the two. But you know, we sat down and we talked about a lot of projects. We talked about, you know, a lot of pitches and things that we can advise to customers. Some of the things that we can just advocate for everyone else to advise to the customers. And she saw me in there talking. Like a lot of vice presidents walked in the cafeteria. And they saw me in there talking to these two guys, and, you know, they were like, man, because these are the only two guys that are in training. He's like, man, I didn't know that you knew these guys, Sam. I'm like, yeah. Because when I'm in the hallway, I saw him and did a double take. I'm like, oh, shit, Jonathan, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he was like, man, you know, we're going out for martinis, this weekend, this Friday, we need to take and hang out, So we shelter in the cafeteria. We're talking about a lot of things like feminism and, the economy and how it works and, just the difference between global banks and regional banks and expansions and, and a couple of vice presidents, they walked by and they saw us talking and they were like, wow, wow, Sam, you actually got a lot of stretch. And I was like, yeah, but, I mean, this video can get long, man, and I can get into depth when it comes down to this story because there's a couple of black women who have joined the same institution that I'm talking about. A couple of them have come from the previous firm, and I did not like them at the previous firm. I was above them, and I didn't directly have to tell them anything. It's just that I've seen them around. We're cool, but their attitude, and it never really bothered me. It never was directly towards me, but just their attitude in regards to the firm, in regards to, how they're going to be. And, they never got along with other black women in there. They never got along with a lot of the black men in there. But I've always learned, like, to just fish with them. Like, dish them out there, reel them out there, and slowly reel them in. And dish them back out there again, So I never got a chance to really get close to these women. So when they see me, like, hey, how you doing, Sam? Hey, One girl I know, shorty with the red hair, dark skin, when she started in one of the training classes because I know one of the trainers that are there. So, the first thing I thought is, damn, man, at the other firm, when she was working in the call center section, because, I was working with a lot of projects with a lot of the supervisors that were in her particular call center. And I remember when her training class was there. And, not only that, like I've actually put her on a few projects on her team and, taught her team a few things. But she would never come to work. She was always going to leave of absence. And now that she's in the training class at this new bank, she is doing the same shit. Like, I actually talked to her trainer. I walked around like, hey, what's going on with, shorty? Because, they had a potluck. They were going through training and transitioning and all of this. So, I said, man, I haven't seen her sitting at her desk for a while. What's going on? At her cubbyhole. And, the trainer, the mentors, they were telling me like, yeah, she hasn't come to work. We're not supposed to say anything, but yeah, she's on her way out. And I knew she would do it because she tried that shit with the other institution. She tried that shit with, it's like these bitches just want to go and get paid for the training. And then when the training is over, when it's time to go and do the work, when it's time to get, out of the nest, that's when they want to give up. And something told me that she was going to do that. They always come up with these excuses. I got to take away. I got to do this for my kid. I got to do that for my kid. And they're just never there. So, that's just one story. Then another chick who had both of these women had nasty attitudes at the other bank. But now that they're here, it's like they have this nasty attitude. Some of them, you can see it all in their face, And when they see me, well, not both of them, because one girl, the girl with the red hair that I just mentioned, when she sees me, she's like, hey, Sam, she'll come and give me shit that they cooked at the potluck and all of that. She sees me, she talks to me, tells me how it was at the other firm. And because she was on the leave of absence there, always taking the leave, known for taking the leave, and then she decided to just fucking quit, and now she's here. And when I saw, I was like, man, fuck, man, she's going to make shit look bad over here. Not for me, but just for the morale of the company. Should I tell them that I know her? And I told just one trainer, like, yeah, I've seen her before. I know who she is. She cooks very well, and, she sells her own plates and things like that. So for the potluck, of course, she cooked some food, and, she brought some over. And I talked to her a couple times in the cafeteria, but going off to this, she's not overweight either. Okay, so let's go to the overweight chick who works there now, who, I actually had her on a Kana project. And, Kana is basically response to email through a lot of these companies' websites. And, that could be, a lot of banks use it now, and a lot of insurance companies use it. I help do a lot of programming for that particular software. So, This chick, is in there, nasty attitude. You hear it from a lot of the fucking supervisors and the team leads and shit about how, this one particular chick, she acts like, she's above everything. And, with the previous firm, she didn't really know shit. But I never told anyone that I knew her. I'm like, man, she's in here with that shit. I wonder what the fuck happened to her at the other firm. Did she get fired? So, I don't know. I just kind of like stay out of a lot of shit. But I'm getting tired of the fucking attitude, bro. I am seriously getting tired of it. The nicer you are to these fucking bitches, it's like the meaner they are. But when you're mean to them, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, let me give you some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that. It's very fucking unattractive. You know what I mean? Because then when we fuck, all you just want me to do is just beat it up. Like, what happened to, like, being nice? What happened to a woman just being feminine and shit? And, I mean, there's reasons why. There's definitely reasons why. It's because, a lot of black men just don't have the standards out there. Like, this is what it is, and we need women who are feminine, who, are with the nasty attitude. The women with the nasty attitude, we're just going to throw them off to the side. They are, disregarded. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll see a lot of changes. You'll see a lot of women that say, you know what, well, I need to get my shit together if I'm going to get picked. I need to change my motherfucking attitude. You would not believe some of the fucking stories that I hear. And I mean, if I got into detail, like one girl, man, and I mean, I had to talk to my homegirl D about this shit. Because, it was like, I know how she is. Like, me and her would never date. And this is my homegirl I did a video for, she has her own page, Big Fine Ray. So I had to talk to her about this shit. And I'm like, all right, well, with this one particular female, she told me that, she was fucking in the verge of being married, but the guy was just too clingy. The guy always wanted to just sit down and watch TV and hold her hand and, just cuddle and all of that shit. And she didn't like that. I was like, well, what does it have to do? Like, does it have to do with her youth? What? But then she would always tell me, like, he had an attitude adjustment she needed to work with. She always needed to change her attitude, shit like that. And I know how my homegirl Big Fine Ray is. I know how, when she's in a relationship, she likes to take and be under the guy. She likes to take and cuddle and, smiles when he comes home, fixes the motherfucker a meal and all of that, right? So, when I explained to her about this one chick that I was digging on, and, when I just basically told everything that the girl told me, it was like, I don't like her. You're better than her, and I don't want to see you with her. Even though me and Big Fine Ray will never ever date. We'll never ever, like, we're just good friends. Like, she might be the godmother of my kids or some shit like that, but we'll never ever fucking date. But just the things that I told her, and I was just blunt, and I was just straight up with her because I was asking a lot of questions. Like, here it is. This is a female who, she made it that far to at least be a fiance, to be engaged, and yet, she doesn't like the intimacy. So what's wrong with that picture? She broke it down like, no, a lot of women, they do want that. They do want the intimacy. They do, smile, and, they're very grateful when their man comes home safe, and, they have the meal in the hot tub. Not saying that, it's over misogynated, that the misogyny is all over the place. No. But this girl here, she is emotionally scorned. Like, my homegirl was just telling me, like, you don't have to deal with that. Like, that's something that, her being emotionally scorned is her fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? You do not have to deal with that. And then, when I talk to her, I'm the one who's just, like, saying all the shit, putting everything out there, letting her know, the details of what's going on. Sometimes, like when I'm nonchalant with them, or when I don't say anything, especially through text, when I don't say anything and I'm very, very short-winded on my text, it's like, that's when they grow and they get a little bigger and bigger. But when I start seeing that they're short text, I'm like, fuck it. Like, you bitches aren't shit. And then I never want to fucking say this. I never want to really say it. It's like, when I run into a lot of these females, like the homegirl I'm talking about who was engaged, I mean, even with her, like, she has to go to the gym. She has a plug. She has to go to the gym and shit. My Delaware punch that was just shipped up here. She has to go to the gym. I mean, you know, the ones who are like highly attractive and shit, you know, they are running shit. Maybe this is just some personal shit. But the ones I see with the thin waist are the ones who are like athletic, have abs, and, you know, have nice cuts in their arms and thighs. These women are feminine. You know? Like, but the ones that I see, you know, who may have a few good things going on about them, you know, they might have some, you know, some different color eyes or some shit. You know, they might have a nice body, but, you know, they still got the pug in their stomach. They still have the fucking attitudes. But you still fuck around. Like, when I ask about the previous guys that you fuck around with, they are not compatible with a nigga like me. But then I'm supposed to fucking have all the shit, the degree. I'm supposed to have the car and the condo and all that. Man, you know, I'm serious, man. A lot of motherfucking black men of my stature, at the least, they're not fucking with y'all like that no more. They're just not. And I mean, the attitude is the biggest problem. The weight is a problem too, but the attitude is really a big problem. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men just don't want to fucking deal with that. They just want to come home to a woman, whether you have a job or not. You do not have to be a housewife. But I mean, damn. You know, at least be feminine with your shit. You know, and I mean, this can even go across for men on the same thing. It's like, okay, you know, be over masculine amongst other men. Cool. But when it comes down to coming home, you know, like, you know, don't be no geek. Don't be no fucking lame when it comes down to your female, when it comes down to your wife or your woman or your girlfriend, whoever the fuck you are with. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you shouldn't have to be over masculine to challenge her attitude. And that's the biggest problem. I don't fuck with it no more. I don't fuck with it. Because it's not a great relationship to be in. It's going to be a fuck thing when it comes down to me. It always is. It's like, you know, and for some reason, I mean, I'm going to just be real with you. I don't even nut. Robbie just be fucking these hoes and it's like, they nutting. Take it, Sam. Take it. And I'm like, man, I'm just not into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sure. My dick is hard, but it's like, I'm never going to fucking bust a nut because I just don't feel that intimacy there. You know what I'm saying? You know? And then a lot of the women who I do know who are like just highly over sexual, and you know, they have their sexiness on point, they have their body on point. These are the ones fucking around with like white men and Hispanic men. These are the ones who I don't know, man. I'm gonna go ahead and end this fucking video, man. I might do a part 2 on this, and I am so sorry for the cussing because I've just seen this shit like over the past couple days. You know, like I know there's a lot of women who, boy, even going to this new firm, I've had women to just like they're watching me. They are, you know, trying to figure out what my next move is, what I'm doing and shit. And then when they find it through the grapevine, it's like all of a sudden, hey, how you doing, Sam? You know, I heard that you moved up. You're in another firm now, and you know I miss you and all of that shit. But you know, there it is. It's like there's no accountability for your attitude. There's no accountability for how the way you talk to motherfuckers. And, you know, I try to be cool and calm and collective about the shit. Try to be cordial about the shit. But the only way you are nice is if I treat you like shit. If I dog you, that's the only way. And then what you do, you go back and complain to your girlfriends, and then you tell them, oh, well, yeah, he's mean and he's not treating me right. I mean, even I get this shit from females. I get it from females who have attitudes, who I have no desire of getting into a relationship with. And here they telling me, you know, how their guy is always dogging them, treating them like shit, making them having a fucking abortion and don't want to pay for it. You know, always talking down to them, calling them a bitch, telling them that you'll never find a better fucking nigga like me. You know what I'm saying? You'll never find a better motherfucker out there. You better accept, you know, who you have and shit like that. Bitch, you ain't shit. You know? Constantly getting all these other fucking women pregnant. But you keep going back to them, and when I tell you about it, it's like, oh, well, I don't know. You just don't know how it is being in love, Sam. Fuck, you know? All right, man. All right, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to just go ahead and end it right there, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to give a shout out to all of my dogs in the manosphere. You know, I want to give a shout out to, you know, Angry Man, Minister Jab, you dig? Give a shout out to SWP and, you know, the whole black diaspora, you know what I'm saying? um, you know, real shit, man. A lot of these guys say, and they speak in general, and a lot of the things that they say are observational. I mean, a lot of shit that I say or that I intend on saying because, I don't want to over flood videos on my shit, but I mean, I definitely want to be observational, but at the same time, I want to let people know that, like, these are personal experiences, and a lot of things that I will definitely address will be in regards to some of the statistics that are out there. You know what I'm saying? So, shit gotta change, man. And I got a lot of young guys between the ages of like 17 and 24 who understand this shit. And when I break it down to them, like, I have long, drawn-out conversations with a lot of these guys, especially at the firm. Like, I talk to a lot of the black men in the cleaning crew before I leave at night, and I explain a lot of these things to them. Some of the older guys, like, I talk a lot about this because, they ask about the younger generation and why it is the way it is. I'm like, look, man, you motherfuckers, you dropped the ball pretty much, and these motherfuckers, they have picked it up. I mean, they're constantly fumbling the ball, but I mean, this is how the way we have to run up the field. I mean, there's some of us who do know how to run up the field and be firm and shit with this shit, but for the most part, it's torn. It's a torn community, and then you have a lot of these females who are emotionally scorned. Some of them, they are mentally and physically scorned as well. But for me to fucking sit there and accept the way you are and your attitude, I'm sorry. Especially coming from a guy like me who has no children whatsoever. I'm like, no, got me fucked up. I mean, you should be surprised some of the men who are, courting a lot of these fucked up women. You'd be surprised, like, after they have all of these fucking children, 2 kids and shit, 3 kids, they're like, trying to holler at me. And then they get an attitude about this shit when they see that I don't want to fuck with them. But then the ones who don't have any kids, it's like, they have this fucking Louis Vuitton, Versace, Gucci ass fucking attitude and shit, and they act like, once they got the weave in their hair, oh shit, it's over. You try to give them compliments on, just the fact that they got the afro or they got, little small braids in their hair, and then they're not even comfortable with that shit. Like they feel like once they have the weave in their hair, that's when the attitude comes. Oh shit, with the little red streaks or the blonde streaks in their hair and shit, the fucking attitude is there. I don't like these hoes. I don't, and that's why. That's exactly why. You send me a dark skinned, Nino Brown, Wesley Snipes complexion ass dark skinned female with a bomb ass, immaculate, great, nice attitude. I would eat that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Love it to death. But that same female with the nasty attitude, just highly unattractive. Even the red bone bitches, highly unattractive. Fucked up attitude, highly unattractive. This is, you can tell a lot of these women, they of course they have a mother and a dad, okay, but when they raised in a single parent household, you know it. You can just tell by the way they carry themselves. You can tell by their attitude for the most part. I was breaking this shit down to another young guy, and I told him, and I mean, a lot of this shit that I'm saying, in this next segment, I mean, nobody has really discussed this, because if you are going to a woman's house who has no father, a lot of single black men, or better yet, a lot of black men who have no fathers who they were raised by, they're intimidated by a woman who has a father in the house or a male role model in the house. It's that whole climbing behind the back gate, going in the back window syndrome. Like, when mama's at work at night, working a third shift and shit, he's in the house begging her daughter because there's no father around, because she comes from a single parent household. These women are the ones who basically have the fucking attitudes. And then when you have a fucking woman who was raised by a mother and father in the household, I'm not talking about I'm going to visit my mama this week, or I'm going to visit my fucking daddy this week, next week, or this weekend, or some shit like that. No, I'm talking about in the house 24/7, all the way from infancy to adolescence, through adolescence, all the way through the time when they are of legal age at the very least, and even surpassing that, where they can go home, come from college or, come from another state, and then come home and just visit their mother and their father in the same household. Those type of women, they are more feminine. They understand because their father taught them how to be a princess. How to be accepted and what type of man to choose on top of that. So the way they choose men sometimes is a little different than your average hood chick. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a lot of the guys out there, the street niggas who got the nasty attitude, who tell you, oh, I ain't got no motherfucking money and shit for no goddamn abortion. Bitch, you better fucking figure out how to go and get it your damn self. These motherfucking guys, they were raised by their mothers. And if the father was around, the father wasn't living in the fucking house. It was a split type of, relationship. There's a split, agreement that was going on. So I'm gonna leave this shit alone, man. We might just go and get more into this later on. But, that's it, man. You guys be cool. Sam, peace.